Thank you very much indeed. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong, and welcome to Pointless, the quiz show where the lowest scorers are the biggest winners. Let's meet today's players. Couple number one.
I'm Jo, I'm an artist from Melksham in Wiltshire, and this is my best friend Nikki from Mitcham in Surrey.
Our second couple.
I'm Ian, this is Mike. We met at university. He's originally from Worcester and I'm from Swansea.
And our third couple.
I'm Jane, this is my husband Owen, and we're from Lampeter.
And our fourth and final couple.
I'm Dave, I'm from Middlesbrough. This is Andy, he's from Darlington, and we're work colleagues.
Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. These are our contestants. We will find out more about all of you throughout the show as it goes along. Now, there's only one person left for me to introduce. He makes Mastermind look like multiple choice. It's my pointless friend, it's Richard.
Hiya. Hi, everybody. Hello. Mastermind sort of is multiple choice, but it's a multiple choice of everything in the world.
Yeah, that's a mini multiple choice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Forget that. How are you?
I'm really well, very well.
Excellent. Now, this jackpot is coming along very nicely at the moment, isn't it?
That is really maturing, isn't it?
Yeah, some cash. We had a great show last time, didn't we? We had a bunch of pointless answers. Very, very exciting jackpot. They didn't win it, so there's plenty of money there. We've got 2 returning pairs from that show. Didn't see a huge amount of either of them, did we? So, you know, we expect to see a little bit more today from Jane and Owen and Ian and Mike. Andy and David. They've so got the look of pointless winners, haven't they? You get 2 guys, usually northern, quite unassuming guys. You think, OK, you get the kind of guys you think, yeah, you'd like to go with a pint with those guys. And they absolutely sweep all before them. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I might be wrong. You might be unbelievably thick. I don't know. I don't know. You might be. But that's not the impression you give off. You give off a quiet, calm assurance, I would say.
Oh, I can't wait for that podium to give an answer.
It's going to be the second we get onto you guys, I'm going to settle back like that. Just enjoy the answer as it comes. Oh, it's going to be great.
Exciting. All our pointless questions have been asked to 100 people before the show, and our contestants need to find the obscure answers those 100 people didn't get. Now, everyone's looking to find a pointless answer that none of our 100 people gave, and each time that happens, we will add 250 quid to the jackpot. As Richard says, nobody won the jackpot last time, so we add another £1,000 to that, so today's jackpot starts off at £11,250. Right, if everyone's ready, let's play Pointless. OK, in this round, I'll take an answer from each of you, but there's no conferring. Whichever pair has the highest score at the end of the round will be eliminated, so try hard to make sure that isn't you. OK, our first category today is film. Film. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, our first question concerns famous people and their biopics. Famous people and their biopics. Richard?
Yes, on each pass we're going to show you the names of 7 films, which are all biopics of famous people, and the name of an actor. We need you to tell us who did that actor play in that biopic, please. Give us a nice obscure answer. You're going to score fewer points, but an incorrect answer will score you 100. It's going to be 14 to have a go at home. Very best of luck.
Thanks very much. So, we are looking for the famous people that are the subjects of these biopics. And on our first board, we have got PT-109, Cliff Robertson, Nowhere Boy, Aaron Johnson, A Man for All Seasons, Paul Schofield, The Desert Fox, James Mason, A Beautiful Mind, Russell Crowe, Frida, Salma Hayek, and J. Edgar, Leonardo DiCaprio. I'll read those all one last time. PT-109, Cliff Robertson, Nowhere Boy, Aaron Johnson, A Man for All Seasons, Paul Schofield, The Desert Fox, James Mason, A Beautiful Mind, Russell Crowe, Frida, Salma Hayek, and J. Edgar, Leonardo DiCaprio. Now then, Nikki, welcome. Welcome to Pointless. Lovely to have you here. Now, you've come from Surrey.
Yes.
What do you do, Nikki?
I work for the company that maintain the M25.
Will you tell them from me they're doing an excellent job?
Oh, I will, thank you. Someone says that. It's so good of you.
That road is so well maintained. How are you on your biopics?
Not good looking at that board. There are names that I think I should know, but I think the only one I can be sure of is Nowhere Boy and John Lennon.
John Lennon, Nowhere Boy, you are saying. OK, let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said John Lennon. Absolutely right. Fine. Nikki, that's amazing. That's a really good answer. 5 for Nowhere Boy.
Well played, Nikki. Very good answer, very good start to the show. Absolutely. Directed by Sam Taylor-Wood, who is married to the star Aaron Johnson. 5 points. The word the Beatles is not mentioned once during that whole film.
Wow, there's a snub.
No. Actually, the word the is mentioned, but the word Beatles isn't.
Now then, Mike.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened last time.
Last time, theatre came up, and me and Ian both said beforehand, if theatre comes up, we haven't got a chance. And I thought I did really well with William Shakespeare, but I don't think it was, what, 81 was it? And we ended up a combined score of 181, which is embarrassing, to say the least.
OK, here we are on film, though. What do you make of this board?
A Beautiful Mind is a great film. Russell Crowe. Love the film, but I can't remember his name in it. Can't pluck it from anywhere. Leonardo DiCaprio is, like, my favourite actor, so I should know his role in that film. I'm going to have to take a punt, and I'm going to say that Leonardo DiCaprio was himself J. Edgar in J. Edgar.
We'll need the full name of
OK.
J. Edgar.
John Edgar.
OK, John Edgar says Mike Y. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said John Edgar for Leonardo DiCaprio. Bad luck. Bad luck. An incorrect answer, I'm afraid, which scores you the maximum of 100 points. Richard.
Yeah, sorry, Mike, I'll give you the correct answer at the end of the pass. Have you noticed something about Mike on today's show?
What?
He has an errant Y on his name.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the previous show, there were 2 Mikes.
Yeah.
So we had Mike M.
And Mikey.
People are wondering where the Y comes from.
Yeah, why the Y?
Why the Y, Mikey?
Or Mike, why? I should have said that when he gave that answer.
Oh, you should have done.
Mike, why?
I don't know.
OK. Now then, Jane, what happened last time?
I did abysmally.
Well,
Off in the first round.
yeah. Well, no, you had a South American region,
Yes.
Patagonia, and sadly it wasn't a country.
No.
How much time do you spend watching biopics?
I have watched some. Just, I've seen 1 or 2 there, but not that I can remember. I only think I know 1, and I think I'll go for, if it's accepted, J. Edgar Hoover.
OK. We've learnt something, Mike. We've learnt something. This is good. OK, well, you are going to go with J. Edgar Hoover for Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said J. Edgar Hoover. It's right. 44. 44 for J. Edgar Hoover.
Well done, Jane. A biopic about the director of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover.
So remember, we are looking for the famous people who are the subjects of these biopics. David, you're the last person to have this board. Tell us a bit about yourself, David. Where are you from?
I'm from Middlesbrough.
From Middlesbrough. What do you do, David?
I'm a store manager for a retail group.
And what do you like to get up to in your spare time?
I do a bit of home brew.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What things do you brew?
Ciders and beers passed down from generation to generation.
Oh, really? Do you do it quite... What sort of volume do you make every...
Oh, only about 40 pints at a time.
At a time?
Yeah.
How many times? How many times a year?
About 3 times a year, really.
OK. Now, David, the board, the gentleman. Talk us through it.
No idea, really. First one, is that something about a mountain? I don't know. Man for All Seasons. I want to say Henry VIII, but I don't think it was about Henry VIII. I think it was about his Chancellor, I don't know. Desert Fox, Monty, but I'd need his full name. Oh, I'm going to have to go for Henry VIII because I don't know the full name of Monty, unfortunately.
OK, you're going to say Henry VIII for...
Man for All Seasons.
A Man for All Seasons, Henry VIII, you're going to say. OK, let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people knew that answer. Henry VIII. Bad luck, David. Bad luck. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer, which scores you the maximum of 100 points. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that is a tough board, actually, I have to say. But, David, you knew the answer to that one. You said he played Henry VIII's Chancellor, and he did. He played Thomas More. The film is a biopic about Thomas More. And that would have scored you 9 points, would have been a terrific answer. It's a really tough board. PT 109 is about the early life of JFK. That would have scored you 10 points. The Desert Fox, he doesn't play Montgomery. Quite the opposite, plays Erwin Rommel. And that would have scored you 35 points. Beautiful Mind, we've all seen it, but who's he play? He plays John Nash. 2 points. And Frida is the artist.
Frida Kahlo.
Frida Kahlo, absolutely right, would have scored 3. So the best answer on the board there is John Nash.
Very good indeed. Thanks, Richard. We're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at the scores as they stand. 5. What about that, Nicky and Joe? 5. Best score by a long chalk. Then we go up to 44, where we find Jane and Owen. Then it's all the way up to 100, where we find Mike Y and Ian and David and Andy. So, yes, Andy and Ian, it's going to be between the pair of you, I would say, to see who stays with us and who leaves at the end of the round. Best of luck. We're going to come back down the line now. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, we've got 7 more biopics on the board, and here they come. We have got The Last Emperor, John Lone, Shadowlands, Anthony Hopkins, The Iron Lady, Meryl Streep, Braveheart, Mel Gibson, Immortal Beloved, Gary Oldman, Shine, Geoffrey Rush, and Amadeus, Tom Hulse. I'll read those all one last time. The Last Emperor, John Lone, Shadowlands, Anthony Hopkins, The Iron Lady, Meryl Streep, Braveheart, Mel Gibson, Immortal Beloved, Gary Oldman, Shine, Geoffrey Rush, and Amadeus, Tom Hulse. Now, remember, you are looking for the famous people who are the subjects of these biopics. And, Andy, you're going to try and find the one you think the fewest of our 100 people knew. So, Andy, how do you and David know each other?
We're work colleagues, work for the same company, manage different stores. Right,
you are. How often do you see each other in the working week?
We speak every day.
Yeah.
Don't see each other. Area meetings, the occasional concert, gig we go to.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What sort of gigs do you go to?
Bad ones.
Bad ones. Bad ones.
I mean, do you set out to go to bad ones?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
How do you find them?
We both come up with suggestions. Do you fancy going to see that?
Well, you just look through the pages until
Yeah.
you find something you think, oh, that looks terrible.
Yeah. Last time we went to one, we actually left after 3 minutes laughing.
There we go. Now then, Andy, what do you make of this board?
There's one obvious one. The Mel Gibson one I can't think of. I'm going to take a chance and say that Amadeus is Mozart.
You're going to say Mozart for Amadeus. Mozart for Amadeus, says Andy. Well, you're the joint high scorers at the moment on 100. Let's see how many people said Mozart. Absolutely right. 45. Takes your total up to 145. Richard.
Well played, Andy. Tom Hulse's portrayal of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Very impressive.
Now then, Owen. I've got great news for you. The high scorers are Andy and David on 145. You're on 44. Even if you score 100 points, you are still through to the next round. Well done.
No pressure.
No, well, no, literally, no pressure. But let's have an answer.
I think I'm going to say The Iron Lady, Meryl Streep and Margaret Thatcher.
The Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, says Owen. Let's see if that's right. No red line for you, as you're already through, but let's see. Is it right? Margaret Thatcher. How many people said it? It's right. 68. Takes your total up to 112.
Well done, Owen. Redeemed yourself there. Meryl Streep, again, won an Oscar for a portrayal of Margaret Thatcher.
Very good indeed. Now then, Ian, we have a game on our hands here. The high scorers are Andy and David on 145. You're on 100. If you can score 44 or less, you are through to the next round. Now, Ian, what are your other areas, your strong suits?
Just sport, really. Football, tennis, rugby, anything to do with sport, but not biopics, though.
Not biopics. OK. What are you going to go for?
Well, Braveheart I should know, but the name, it's not coming to me. So I'm going to have a guess. The Last Emperor, Julius Caesar.
OK, Julius Caesar, says Ian, for The Last Emperor. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said Julius Caesar. There's your red line. If you get below that red line, you are through to the next round. Is it right? How many people said it, if it is? Bad luck. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer. Scores you the maximum of 100 points, taking your total up to 200.
Yeah, sorry, Ian, I'll give you the correct answer at the end of the pass. Last time we did a round on biopics, I called them biopics. And I read a very interesting learned paper about pronunciation at some university, picking up on the fact that you called it biopic and I called it biopic, and you were right. Which is why I'm calling them biopics now.
Ah, but it's a sort of portmanteau word, isn't it, really?
Yeah, if you want.
OK. Joe, what do you do?
I'm an artist.
You're an artist.
Painter. I do glass painting.
Yes, you do. You presented some glasses for us, which we have.
Yes.
Ah, which you've seen, some very fine glasses.
They're very good, aren't they?
Yes, with your face in mind.
It's nice, isn't it?
You have been. I mean, you look great, but in Joe's picture,
yeah, I look even
she's
better.
taken about 7 years off you.
Really?
Yeah. Now then, Joe, great news for you. You're through to the next round, whatever happens, even if you score 100 points. Partly thanks to Nikki's excellent answer, and partly thanks to Ian and Mike Y's execrable answers, you are through to the next round. Now then, the board is yours. Can you fill in any of the blanks for us?
Braveheart's William Wallace, but the only one I really am positive on is Shadowlands, and I believe that's C.S. Lewis.
You're going to say Shadowlands, C.S. Lewis. Lovely low score there from Nikki of 5. If you can replicate that, then this really will be an excellent round for the pair of you. Shadowlands, C.S. Lewis, says Joe. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said it. No red line, you're already through. It's right. Well, very, very well done indeed. Fantastic total of 17. Extremely well played, Joe and Nikki.
Well played, Joe. Best answers on both passes from your team. Joe and Nikki are good as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
We've got some good players here today. Really, really tough first question, I think that was. Let's take a look through the ones we don't have here. The last emperor, not Julius Caesar, it's Pu Yi. Pu Yi is a very tough answer, though. Would have scored 1 point. Braveheart, Joe, you're right, it's William Wallace. Would have scored you 28 points. Immortal Beloved is Ludwig van Beethoven. Like Gary Oldman would have scored 4 points. And Shine, Geoffrey Rush plays David Helfgott. David Helfgott, 2 points. Very well done if you said that. Pu Yi, perhaps unsurprisingly, the lowest answer on the board. There's some tough answers there, aren't there?
Yeah, very tough.
Both boards difficult there. Very well done to anyone who survived that. We'll give you something easier next, I promise.
Thanks very much, Richard. So at the end of our first round, the pair who'll be leaving the show with their high score of 200 points.
200.
Oh, you're in the 200 club, Ian and Mike Y.
We are.
It hasn't gone brilliantly, has it, that round?
No.
That was a really... They were tough, to be fair. I thought you were going to do better.
I thought we were going to do better as well.
All you need is to have heard of J. Edgar Hoover, though, and that was
Yeah, I know.
That was a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have to say goodbye to you, Ian and Mike. I'm afraid it's been too short. Too short. But thanks very much for playing. Great to have you on the show, Ian and Mike. But for the remaining 3 pairs, it's now time for round 2. Now, obviously, there's only going to be room for 2 pairs in our head-to-head round, so one of the pairs in front of me now will be leaving us very sadly at the end of this round. I wonder who it's going to be. Joe and Nikki. Fantastic. Oh, straight out of the traps there. Brilliant low score. 17. Very, very good indeed. Andy and David did pretty well there. Jane and Owen. Oh, you've made it through. Hey. You're in the second round now. It's all looking very, very good indeed. Well, best of luck to all 3 pairs. Our category for round 2 is football. Football. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, so our question concerns the England 1982 World Cup squad. Richard.
Yeah, we're going to show you a picture now of the 1982 England World Cup squad. We need you to identify any of the players in this picture, please.
OK, so we're now going to show you the image, and here it comes. Feast your eyes. There you go. The England 1982 World Cup squad. That picture will remain up there for the duration of the round, and you each have to name a player pictured there. So, Joe, how are you feeling about this? What are your areas of expertise, Joe, apart from art?
Films.
Films.
Chocolate cake.
Oh.
Very good on that. And football. Not a hope, because I can mentally see my husband sat at home going, I know that one, and I know that one, and I know that one. And all I'm thinking is mullet. Ray Clements.
Ray Clements, says Joe. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said it. Ray Clements. It's right. "17. Very, very well done, Joe. 17 for Ray Clements.
Very well played, Joe. Yeah, there he is, Ray Clements, one of the goalies. Your husband will be punching the air like a last-minute penalty has been scored. Very well played.
And now, Jane, how are we feeling about this?
Not good. I can't stand football. And
Right.
I was only one in 1982, so not a great memory of it. But I have to say, I'm not even sure it's right. Bobby Dalglish.
Bobby Dalglish. OK, let's see if Bobby Dalglish is right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said it. Bad luck, bad luck. Jane, I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer, which scores you the maximum of 100 points. I'm sorry.
Last game, Owen made up Rajikistan. This game, you've made up Bobby Dalglish. That's good. That's 1-1, isn't it? 1-1 with the equalising goal scored by Bobby Dalglish. It's controversially not picked for the 1982 England World Cup squad. There's a Kenny Dalglish, who's a Scotland player, but...
OK, well, we could see the round is young. Anything could happen. Andy, we come to you. How are you on football, Andy?
Well, it's around about the time I was collecting football stickers. Paul Mariner.
Paul Mariner.
Paul Mariner.
OK, Paul Mariner, says Andy. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said Paul Mariner. It's right. Oh, very well done, Andy. Single figures. 8 for Paul Mariner. Very well done indeed.
Yeah, Paul Mariner, centre-forward, used to play for Ipswich Town. Very good answer, Andy.
Thanks very much indeed. Now we're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at the scores as they stand. Andy and David. Lovely low score there from Andy. So you're looking pretty strong at this stage. Up to 17. Great score from you, Joe. Jane and Owen a little bit exposed there, I'd say. Out on 100 points. So, Owen, quite a burden on your shoulders, I'd say. But anything can happen in the next pass. You never know. OK, we're going to come back down the line now. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, so remember, we are looking for the names of any members of the England 1982 World Cup squad, as pictured here. And David, as always, you're going to try and find the one you think the fewest of our 100 people knew. Now, David, how are you feeling about this? Are you good on football as well? Were you collecting stickers round about now?
No. I was watching Middlesbrough. They didn't have an international footballer. I'm going to go for Viv Anderson.
Viv Anderson, says David. Viv Anderson. Here is your red line. If you can score 91 or less, you're through to the head-to-head. Viv Anderson. Let's see if that's right. How many people said it? It's right, and you're through. Another great answer. Look at that. 4. Very well done. Taking your total up to 12. Well done, David.
Well played, David. Another very good answer there on that last podium. Look at him there. Yeah, the great Viv Anderson. There he is. The first black player to ever represent England in a full international.
OK, now then, Owen. Quite a lot of pressure on you here. You are high scorers.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not much of an England football fan, being Welsh and being born in 1982. So I think in the top left-hand corner, it's Tony Adams.
Tony Adams, says Owen. Let's see if that's right. No red line for you, as you are the high scorers. But Tony Adams, let's see how far down the board it can take you if it's right. No, bad luck. Owen, I'm afraid an incorrect answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points, taking your total up to 200. Richard?
Yes, sorry, Owen, I can see what you mean, but it was a bit before Tony Adams' time, 1982.
So now, Nikki, great news. You are through to the head-to-head. Even if you score 100 points, you won't overtake the high score of Owen and Jane. You're on 17. So there we are. Now, football, is that you, I notice, stood back and let Joe go first. Is that because you're pretty good on this?
No, I don't know football. So I'm going for a random name just because I hope he was playing that early. Kevin Keegan.
Kevin Keegan, says Nikki. No red line for you. You're already through, but let's see if Kevin Keegan's right. Let's see how many people said it, if he is. Absolutely right. 45. 45 takes your total up to 62. Very well done, Nicky.
Good work, Nicky. Could have gone a lot worse, couldn't it? Yeah, there he is in the middle of the front row, playing for Southampton at the time. Now, there's only one pointless answer up there. I know some people at home, this would have been a write-off, and I know other people at home would have been trying to get all 22, and some of you would have succeeded. I know that, so let's go through some of them. But the pointless answer up there, on the top row, third from the right, is the Aston Villa forward, Peter With. So very well done if you said Peter With. That's the pointless answer. Graham Ricks would have scored you 2. There he is in the middle row, the second along. And you would have scored 3 points for Steve Foster, the Brighton centre-back. There he is in the top row. Now, the one you thought was Tony Adams is Brian Robson in the top left there. Would have scored 10 points. And the 3 biggest scorers, well, Keegan scored 45. He's the biggest of all. But Glenn Hoddle would have scored you 23. There he is in the top. And Peter Shilton. There he is. Peter Shilton would have scored you 31. Now, very well done to anybody at home who got all 22 of those. I'm sure some people did. And if you only got 1 or 2 of them, well done as well. Let's move on to the next round.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. So at the end of round 2, I'm afraid our losing pair with their high score of 200 points. Well, listen, what a shame. It's a tough round, that one. But you made it through to the second round, which is good.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, though, this time we have to say goodbye. This really is goodbye. It's been great having you on the show. Owen and Jane, thanks so much for playing.
Thank you.
But for the 2 remaining pairs, they're getting 1 step closer to the final and a chance of taking home the jackpot as we enter the head-to-head. Congratulations, Joe and Nicky. David and Andy are now only 1 round away from the final and a chance to play for that jackpot, which currently stands at £11,250. Now, clearly only 1 pair can play for that money, so we have to decide which pair it's going to be. And to do that, we're now going to go head-to-head. This time, you are allowed to confer. And the first pair to win 2 questions will be going through to the final and playing for the jackpot. As I always say in this round, anything can happen. Let's play the head-to-head. OK, here is your first question, and it concerns places in Scotland. Places in Scotland, Richard.
Yeah, quite simply, we're going to show you 5 anagrams of towns or cities in Scotland. Can you unscramble them and choose the most obscure? Good luck.
OK, thank you very much, Richard. Let's reveal our 5 Scottish anagrams, and here they are. We've got normal kick, slow gag, uncured lamb, red beans, and Nigel. I'll read those all one last time. Normal kick, slow gag, uncured lamb, red beans, Nigel. Now then, Joe and Nicky, you've played best throughout the show so far, so you get to go first.
We're going to go for normal kick being Kilmarnock.
Normal kick, Kilmarnock. Say Joe and Nicky, David and Andy. You can talk us through the board if you like, David and Andy.
Disappointed normal kick went, because I used to live there. Second one's Glasgow. Oh, yeah. Not sure the second 2. The last one's Elgin. So it's got to be Elgin.
You're going to go for Elgin. OK, so Joe and Nicky went for Kilmarnock. Andy and David have gone for Elgin. Joe and Nicky, Kilmarnock. Let's see if that's right. Let's see how many people said it. Absolutely right. 32. 32 for Kilmarnock. David and Andy have translated Nigel into Elgin. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many people said Elgin. He's right. Ooh, is it going to beat? Oh, no, it's not. 35. 35 for Elgin, which means after 1 question, Joe and Nicky, you are up 1-0. Well done, Richard.
Unlucky gents, there's a couple of answers up there that would have won it for you. Glasgow wouldn't have done. You're right, slow gag is Glasgow, but that would have scored you 74. Do you know any of the other 2? Uncured lamb? It's near Glasgow. It's Cumbernauld. That would have scored you 4. Now, red beans is a pointless answer, so very well done if you got it. Very well done if you're sitting there at this very moment. Bearsden, also near Glasgow. Pointless answer.
Very good. OK, here comes your second question, and it concerns Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens, Richard.
Yeah, we're about to show you 5 clues to facts about Charles Dickens, which is the most obscure of these.
OK, let's reveal our 5 clues to facts about Dickens, and here they come. We have got only female title character of a novel, title of a novel adapted into a musical by Lionel Bart, his pen name used for his literary sketches, the place of worship in which he's buried, and the first novel published serially from 1836. There we are, 5 clues to facts about Dickens. I'll read them again. Only female title character of a novel, title of novel adapted into a musical by Lionel Bart, his pen name used for his literary sketches, place of worship in which he's buried, and the first novel published serially from 1836. There we are, 5 clues to facts about Dickens. And David and Andy, you go first.
Yeah, okay. We're going to go for Little Dorrit.
Little Dorrit, you're going to say, the only female title character of a novel. Now then, Joe and Nikki. Talk us through the board, if you can.
OK, well, the title of the novel adapted into a musical is Oliver.
His pen name for his literary sketches, I believe, is Boz.
Is it? And he's buried in Westminster Abbey?
Yeah, the only one I know is Boz.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty confident.
Do we go for it then?
Boz.
Go on then.
His literary pen name is Boz.
You're going to say Boz was his literary pen name. So we have Little Dorrit and we have Boz. Andy and David, this is the one you have to win to stay in the game. You've said Little Dorrit as the only female title character of a novel. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said Little Dorrit. It's right. It's right. How far down is it going to go? Oh, it's a good answer. Look at that. Down it goes to 18. Very well done. Very well done indeed. Is that going to keep you in the game, I wonder? Joe and Nikki have said Boz is his pen name used for literary sketches. Let's see if that's right. And if it's right, is it going to beat 18? Boz, how many people said it? It is right. 18 to beat. Down it goes. Yep, you've done it. Very well done. 11 for Boz. Very well done indeed. Joe and Nikki, after only 2 questions, you are through to the final 2-0. Brilliant. Richard?
Yeah, very well played. Well played both teams on both questions, actually. Boz or Bose. Charles Dickens' pen name used for his literary sketches. The title of the novel was Oliver Twist. I would have scored you 45. The place of worship in which he's buried, you're right, it's Westminster Abbey. But would have given a point to the guys because it would have scored you 22. And the first novel published serially from 1836.
Pickwick Papers.
Pickwick Papers, and would have scored you 5 points, so that's the best answer on that board.
Thank you very much indeed. So our losing pair at the end of the head-to-head is... ways. But Elgin, a cracking answer. I thought you thought they'd won with Elgin.
Definitely.
Little Dorrit, a brilliant answer, but in both cases you were just pipped by the brilliance of Joe and Nikki. Anyway, set fair for a great game next time. We'll see you then, when I'm sure you'll do as well, if not better. But meantime, thanks very much for playing. David and Andy. But for Joe and Nikki, it's now time for our pointless final. Congratulations, Joe and Nikki. You fought off all the competition and you have won our coveted Pointless trophy. You now have a chance to win our Pointless jackpot, and at the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at £11,250. You have done so well. What would round it all off? What would be the best category for this round?
Flavours of fudge would be good.
Oh, wouldn't it?
Seth MacFarlane cartoons.
It could be. I mean, they're usually quite specific on this last round, so it could be.
Specific.
OK, well, let's see what comes up. Best of luck. The rules are very simple. To win the money, all you have to do is find a pointless answer. Do that, and you will go home with that £11,250. First, you've got to choose a category. Here are your 5 options. You have got composers, MPs, film awards, ice hockey, hip-hop stars.
Film awards, isn't it?
Yeah, you can only go for film awards. I don't think there's anything else there that...
Yeah.
Hip-hop stars? No.
Oh, I'm down with it. I'm cool. No. Film awards.
Film awards it is. OK. Let's find out what the question is. Here it comes. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Oscar-nominated actresses of the 21st century as they could.
Yeah, we're looking for the name of anybody who's been nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress, all the way from the 2000 ceremony right through to the 2012 ceremony. Very, very best of luck.
OK, you now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers, and all you need to win that jackpot of £11,250 is for just one of those answers to be pointless. Are you ready?
Yes.
OK, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. There they are. Your 60 seconds start now.
You've got Marlee Matlin, you've got Glenda Jackson, Shirley MacLaine.
Has Shirley MacLaine been since 2000?
Is it since 2000?
Yes.
OK,
Yes.
So...
we just cleaned your list off.
Marlee Matlin, I think, was Children of the Lesser God. I'm pretty sure that was... don't know if it was after then. So...
I can only think of really obvious ones, like... I can't even think of any obvious ones.
Helen Mirren.
Yes.
Meryl Streep for the...
Yeah.
not the Queen.
Doesn't matter what it's for. It's
Like Brit Blanchett, whatever it was.
Helena Bonham Carter, did she get a nomination
Yeah,
for?
I suspect she did. It was either Sweeney Todd or something along those lines.
The
Remains
King's
today,
Speech.
yeah.
Yeah, did she?
10 seconds left.
So what are we going to go for? Marlee Matlin, because
Yeah. OK, Helena Bonham Carter and Meryl Streep.
OK. We were looking for Oscar-nominated actresses of the 21st century. I now need your 3 answers.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
Marlee Matlin.
Marlee Matlin.
Helena Bonham
And
Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter. Now, of those 3, which do you think is your best shot at a pointless?
Marlee.
Marlee
Because I've never
Matlin.
heard
OK,
of
Marlee Matlin. We'll put her last. Which is your least likely shot at a
Meryl
pointless?
Streep.
Meryl Streep,
Yeah.
we shall put
Huge.
first. OK, let's pop those up on the board in that order. And here they are. We have got Meryl Streep, Helena Bonham Carter and Marlee Matlin. We were looking for 21st century Oscar-nominated actresses. Your first answer, Meryl Streep, was your least confident shot at a pointless answer. You only have to find one pointless, remember, to win that jackpot of £11,250. Let's see, Meryl Streep, is it right? How many people said it? Absolutely right. Meryl Streep kicking us off very well there. Down she goes through the 40s, into the 30s, into the 20s, into the teens. 13. Not bad. 13 for Meryl Streep. Probably, I would have thought everyone's first choice of Oscar-nominated actress. I think that's quite reassuring for your later answers, I'd say. So only 2 more chances to win today's jackpot. Now then, Joe, £11,250. It's getting quite close to one of our biggest ever jackpots. What would you do with that?
Well, my son's told me that I have to take him to Disneyland Paris. He's ordered it.
OK.
But I've promised myself a tattoo gun. So I just need to find a willing victim now.
Have you done a course yet? Maybe on the tattoo. You learn as you go along. Learn on your son. There you are. Look on it. He's a blank canvas.
It's a wiggle at that age.
True. Nikki.
I would probably use it to replace my poor little squash car.
Oh, what happened to your car?
Someone drove into it.
Oh, no.
So I think might be jinxed a bit. So I might have to buy another, even smaller car.
OK, well, very, very, very best of luck. We are looking for Oscar-nominated actresses of the 21st century. Let's hope nobody said your next answer, Helena Bonham Carter. If this is right and if it's pointless, you will win that jackpot of £11,250. So let's find out how many people said Helena Bonham Carter. It's also right. Now then, Meryl Streep took us down to 13. Helena Bonham Carter is now going to take us down through the 20s, into the teens. She's still going down into single figures. Down she goes. Oh, 4. 4. Oh, this is very good indeed. This is winning territory, I think. On your second answer, you hit 4. Everything is now resting on your last answer. We only have 1 more chance to win today's jackpot. We were looking for Oscar-nominated actresses of the 21st century. Your third and final answer, Marlee Matlin, you thought was your most confident shot at a pointless answer. That's what it has to be for you to win that jackpot. So for £11,250, let's see how many people said Marlee Matlin. Bad luck. That was all going absolutely in the right direction there, but unfortunately, I'm afraid you didn't manage to find that crucial, pointless answer. So I'm afraid you don't win today's jackpot of £11,250, which rolls over onto the next show now. But you have been fantastic contestants. And you do, of course, get to take home our pointless trophy, so very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, Marley Matlin, she did win an Oscar for Children of the Lesser God, but it was from 1987. So it's a long time before we're looking. Now, there's a lot of pointless answers here, a lot of famous names on this list. I'm about to read out a whole series of names that are going to get you very annoyed. I'm very sorry. OK, but let's take a look at some of them. Anne Hathaway was nominated in 2008. Cate Blanchett nominated 4 times during this period. Imelda Staunton nominated for Vera Drake. Jessica Chastain was nominated for The Help. Kathy Bates nominated for About Schmidt in 2002. Marion Cotillard won the Best Actress Oscar in 2007 for La Vie en Rose. Michelle Williams been nominated 3 times as well. Penelope Cruz, who won for Vicky Cristina Barcelona, been nominated 2 other times as well. Tilda Swinton, who won for Michael Clayton. There's a whole series of other names. There's Amy Adams, there's Annette Bening, Carey Mulligan would have won you the money. Diane Keaton, Frances McDormand, Holly Hunter, Juliette Binoche, Kate Hudson, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Marcia Gay Harden, Marissa Tomei, Samantha Morton, Selma Hayek, Sissy Spacek. All of those would have won you the money. When you've only got 1 minute, though, it's very tough, but I suspect some people at home would have done well. I know we've given out some pointless trophies, but we've also got some pointless trophies of our own from Jo.
Wow.
Those glasses. Do you want to see them, the glasses she made of us?
Oh, look at that.
How about those? They're pretty good, aren't they? What do you mean I look 7 years young? They look exactly like me. It's very impressive you can do that.
It is very impressive.
I would trust you with a tattoo gun now. I wouldn't have done previously. No, when I say I would trust you, I mean hypothetically, purely.
Well, unfortunately, Jo and Nikki, we do have to say goodbye to you. It's been brilliant having you on the show. You've done so well. An immaculate performance. I'm sorry that was such a tough... I mean, it's actually even tougher than to hear all those names, isn't it, actually? But a tough final round all the same. Thank you both so much for playing.
Thank you.
So Jo and Nikki didn't win our jackpot today, which means it rolls over onto the next show when we will be playing for £12,250. Join us then to see if someone can win it. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
It's all a big wind-up tomorrow on BBC One at this time. Caught on hidden camera by Richard Hammond's Secret Service at 6. While the quizzing continues now on BBC Two with Eggheads.
Hello, I'm Frank Skinner. Join me this week on Room 101 to find out what winds up Victoria Corrin, Phil Tufnell and Sir Terry Wogan. Tonight on BBC One and BBC One HD.
Blandings Castle. Are they all completely round the bend?
Aha! Oh.
Absolutely potty.
A man's home may be his castle.
Freddie is on his way. Your son.
But even an earl can't afford peace and quiet.
This is an emergency. We have my permission to panic and run about screaming. Pretty good, my lord.
Timothy Spall and Jennifer Saunders lead an all-star cast in a very British comedy from P.G. Woodhouse.
Rather.
Blandings starts Sunday at 6:30 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
This is BBC One in the northeastern Cumbria. Now the BBC News with Fiona Bruce and Carol Malia at 6 o'clock.
The official verdict on Jimmy Savile. For over 50 years, a prolific predatory sex offender who carried out abuse on a national scale. A report concludes he committed 34 rapes and 126 indecent acts from 1955 until as recently as 4 years ago.
It could be said he groomed a nation. He was hiding in plain sight, and yet none of us were able to do anything about it.
Among his many young victims, one speaks of her relief that the truth has finally come out.
It's helped me, and I'm sure it's helped a lot of others too. And just to be able to finally be believed.
The Crown Prosecution Service has apologised to Savile's victims, admitting he could have been brought to justice while he was still alive. Also on tonight's programme, 800 jobs to go at Honda. It blames a slump in sales across Europe. The church organist killed on his way to Mass on Christmas Eve. 2 men appear in court charged with his murder. Just a month after the Connecticut school massacre, another shooting in a Californian school. This time teachers persuade the gunman to surrender. And the first official portrait of the Duchess of Cambridge. She says it's amazing. The critics' response is more mixed.
In Look North at 6:30, already facing tough times, but now another benefits bombshell may hit the low-paid and unemployed. And not here. Protesters warn a planned nuclear dump shouldn't go near the Lake District.
Good evening. Welcome to BBC News at 6. A report investigating more than 50 years of allegations against Jimmy Savile has detailed 34 crimes of rape and 126 indecent acts. The youngest victim, a boy of just 8. The NSPCC, who produced the report together with the police, is calling Savile one of the most prolific sex offenders it has ever come across. He targeted his victims mostly in the 1960s and 70s, at the BBC, at schools, hospitals, even a hospice. But the sexual abuse also took place as recently as 4 years ago. The Crown Prosecution Service has admitted that Savile could have been brought to justice while he was still alive and apologised to his many victims. David Sillito reports.
Jimmy Savile, a predatory sex offender. His first recorded assault, 1955. The last, 2009. Today's police report is the clearest picture yet of Savile's crimes.
It's clear that their testimony, when taken together, presents a compelling case of a predatory sex offender across the whole of the UK. It could be said he groomed a nation. He was hiding in plain sight, and yet none of us were able to do anything about it.
If you think it's right to make love before you get married, put your hands in the air. I see. Well, look, a few hands creeping up there.
Indeed, in the 70s, Savile was the obvious choice to host a TV debate on teenagers and sex. On his days off, he was visiting places such as this, Duncroft, an approved school for girls. One of the girls he met was a 14-year-old, Deborah Cogger. It's a moment she's tried to forget.
He forced me down backwards and pushed it, you know, his weight on top of you, and pushed his tongue into my mouth and down my throat, and you just had to endure it.
Now, 40 years on, she is one of many to have finally spoken to the police. The numbers are bewildering. 450 people have come forward, 328 were
going up, and this St George's Wharf Tower is one of them. It presumably was not there. Well, we know it wasn't there when these rules were put in place.
No, I mean it was built. It started building in 2010. It was nearing completion, and it was going to be one of the biggest residential apartment blocks, skyscrapers in Europe. And like you say, there have been a large number of additional buildings along the Thames, such as the Shard, for example, that have sprouted up since those regulations came in. So perhaps there does need to be more thought put into it, although the regulations are fairly clear that the helicopters shouldn't come within 500 feet of these buildings under any circumstances. And normally it wouldn't be an issue because they would be flying well above the height of any of these skyscrapers, even though many of them have sprouted up at much larger heights than we're used to. So it shouldn't really have affected those regulations too substantially. The fact that there are a few taller buildings, because there have always been tall buildings in London along the riverfront. But just where this helicopter crashed, of course, there were a lot of very important buildings, such as MI6, only a mile, less than a mile up the river from the Houses of Parliament. So right in the centre of town, near quite a lot of residential areas where it came down, and the flower market around Battersea. So really quite incredible that more people weren't killed and injured in this, and terribly sad, obviously, for the one person who was walking along, perhaps on their way to work, who was killed as this helicopter came down.
So many people telling us about their lucky escapes, as I keep saying. Jason, thank you very much indeed for that. The latest on what happened and what air accident investigators will be looking into. I want to talk